generally long layoffs can be something that may lead to a little bit of rust when we do see the Chiefs back on January 18th, January 19th. They haven't, obviously it's TBA to when we'll play, either the 18th or the 19th. But JD, we're going to be gone for a long time. No Kelce, no Mahomes. They're not playing on Sunday. But I want to ask you, what do you make of that whole rust factor? And I do want to ask you, does it play into the fact where, like, should we be concerned about it? We're a team that goes to the Super Bowl every year. These guys have dealt with it. Not to say we've gotten the 1 seed every year. We didn't have to play for a month. I don't think that's been the case for us, actually, a lot of the time. Usually we kind of, we play at the wild card divisional, and we're at least playing until week 18 in some of the cases. But, for the most part, we're kind of used to these situations. Yeah. Are you concerned at all about being off for nearly a month by the time we see the head honchos come back, the Kelce and Mahomes and all the ones?
No, I'm not worried about it at all. I think this is where the brilliance of Andy Reid comes into play. Really, it does. And so if you've been used to being in the playoffs, having time off as well, he understands how to manage his guys. Okay. And so some of the guys that haven't been on the team, this is something they just have to learn as far as like, how do you do everything? And so it's going to take really, it's preparation as far as what you do practice wise. It's all about tempo. How do you take care of one another? So when you do have them out there practice, man, you got to go fast. It's when you hear it, okay, the speed of the game speeds up, especially in the playoffs, man. It is a totally different atmosphere than guys are used to during the regular season. And so when you're thinking about it, every rep has got to count. And so obviously you're not going to have full practices and stuff like that. But when you get your work, you got to get your work in. Okay, you got to work extremely hard, extremely fast. Stay up. Make sure nobody's hitting the ground. That's another thing they're going to make sure you emphasize too. Don't make no boneheaded dives toward anything or try to, make an extra tackle, things of that nature, right? But you touch up on guys, okay? Get down, break down position to make the tackle, all those different things, okay? And guys got to understand how to take care of one another. It's going to take the young guys who haven't been there before to watch the veterans who have done it exactly what that really means. Because sometimes guys just don't understand, Marcus, like, what tempo means, like, hey, this is touch off. That's all it is. Okay. Oh, butt up. Let's go butt up. So everybody's got to be on the same page when they talk about these things. They really do. Because even if you're practicing, guys can get hurt. But as long as you understand, you got a clear understanding of what it is that you want to do in practice and how you take advantage of it, then everybody should be able to take care of each other. That shouldn't be a problem.
So looking just a little quick research here. So looking at the different seasons where we've had a lot of time. So in 2022, the Chiefs play the Raiders 1-7, and they don't play again until 1/21, so they 2 weeks off exactly. In 2020, Chiefs play against the Falcons on December 27th. They don't play again until they play the Browns on January 17th. Obviously, it's the year we lose to Tampa in the Super Bowl. 2019, Chiefs play 12/29 against the Chargers. They don't play again until January 12th against the Texans. So they are used to this in the Mahomes era. Yeah. In 2019, Chiefs play the Raiders 12:30. Don't play again until 1/12 against the Colts. So we're used to these 2 to 3 weeks off. It's just that's the one thing where it's like a lot of people are saying, "Oh, the rust factor." These guys, you don't want them to be rusty. It's like they are used to this. It's not a team that just is getting this for the first time and they're in a first time in their history. No, they deal with this every year or every other year, it seems like. But I don't think it's a big deal at all. These guys know how to, like you always say, they've done this so much where it's like kind of go through the motions of what they've already done before. It's like we already know how the schedule is going to be. We've done it so much. We know how, our practice is going to be. We know when we're going to take time off is going to come. We know all that stuff. So it's like not new information for these guys.
It's not.
Maybe the rookies.
The rookies and then younger guys is really where, you got to make sure you capture their minds, okay, mentally about how it is and what you do as far as the tempo wise. So you just don't want them to think, okay, listen, you got 2 or 3 weeks off, okay? I don't want you just relaxing all the way. You just can't do that. Mentally, you can't even relax all the way. You got to be sharp. You got to stay focused. And so you got to emphasize that all the time when you come in there. So it's purposeful practices. It's got to have a purpose every time you go out there to get better. Like you're working on your things, and this I guarantee Andy's going to emphasize this. Nagy and Spags and Dave, they all going to emphasize. Listen, we are getting ready to win a championship, okay, a Super Bowl, to hold up another Lombardi, to make sure that history that has never been performed or done before, okay, that we are the ones that captures that moment. We got to be those guys. And so the young guys got to understand that, okay? Travis, Chris, and all those guys who've been there, who won multiple Super Bowls, they get their part of it. But the thing is, everybody's got to be on the same page. And sometimes you got to tell a young guy, hey, man, like speed up. Like, hey, go get that ball. Like, you still going out here to get a good sweat. You got to get a good lather. I don't care what it is. And so you're preparing yourself. And think about it. Okay, it just hit me. Think about it like this. Imagine a guy, okay, who's going in for boxing. Okay, he's got a boxing match, 3 or 4 weeks. Obviously, he's not fighting that night. You get those 3 or 4 weeks, you got to make sure that everything is purposeful, right? You got to have your body got to be straight, your punches got to be looking good. Okay. They're going to continue to work you hard. So you do hard things when you need to. So you got to be somewhat physical. You got to come off the football. Okay. You still take care of one another, right? You still take care of one another. So the same thing, the boxers, they wear, the protective headgear and whatnot, just to make sure you don't get these little cuts and stuff of that nature. You don't do anything silly, uh, but you are training hard. You are training hard. So you don't really lose any of that edge as much because everything's got to be competitive. And not only that, but also too, you're practicing situational football. That's another thing that you got to be able to do. Okay. Every scenario's got to come up, right? If this happens, then what do we do? Okay. We got to work 2 minute, or we got to work 4 minute game. If we're backed up, if we're going, in the red zone. So what they'll do is they'll climb over all the things that they might not have been as good this past year, and start working on some of those things that they say, okay, maybe this is at least a focus on what we need to get better at. And so that is going to be a very, very vital thing to do. But like I said before, especially for the young guys, man, especially for the young guys.
And that's why I think, like, for example, like for Lions, right? Lions are a younger team. They did make a deep playoff run last year, but you got Gibbs, you got St. Brown, there's a lot of younger guys on that team who haven't really, they did it last year, but they haven't really done that much. The exposure of having to play a game, they're going to be playing week 18. I mean, the week 18 game is going to be a game for the 1 seed, right? They have to play up until the last minute of everything, and then they're going to get by. But having to play that week 18 is a pivotal game for them because they really haven't had that many playoff atmosphere kind of games. Yeah, they had a deep run last year. That's 1 year. We do this every year. And I think it's more beneficial for a team that has a little bit more, some elder statesmen like Travis Kelce, give him some rest. Mahomes' ankle, give him some rest. I mean, we're talking about a team that just came off a 3-game and 11-day stretch here. Having a time off, I don't think anybody should be complaining about it or even thinking it's like going to be a hurt the Chiefs because they might be rusty. I don't think anyone's thinking about that at all. In Arrowhead, and I think it's a beautiful thing. Everyone knows. Everyone's saying in the chat. Andy Reid, this man loves a bye week, and this guy's getting a three bye weeks here to cook up some stuff against whoever we play in the first round or for the divisional round. So I don't think the rust factor. I think there's a team that does this every year. I don't think you even talk about rust factor with this squad.
Now, look, but you always got to try to protect yourself from those things, though, right? The rust factor. Guys, like, hey, man, listen, you got to get after it. You have to. Weight room, in the training room to get yourself healthy. At this certain point, when the guys start playing, there should be no excuses. And when I'm saying that, we're talking about game tempo or competing a little bit faster in practice. So I, I agree with that. It shouldn't be something coming up with these guys, especially who know it. It's always the younger guys or guys who's just getting on the squad to realize what that really means. Okay. And so I know Andy, he'll convey that message to those guys. They'll get it. They'll get it. They'll understand exactly what that means. And they'll have time to rest and get off. So I would expect, if anything, do some film work, weight room, treatment, in and out of practice. but we making sure we coming in, we working, and he's going to let them know we are going to work today for about an hour. We'll get our work in, and we're out of here. And that's that's what you need to do. Get guys just you know their minds mentally got to kind of calm down a little bit. Okay, but stay sharp, stay focused. Okay, keep testing them. You got to do this. And I'll say this: I remember, man, when we went to the playoffs when we was 13-3, we had that the week off, and Dick Vermeil. I remember. So this is Dick Vermeil's this is his philosophy. So I remember, the week before we had actually we had that week off. So the week off we had, we're actually practicing. And so I mean we're strapping up pads and we're banging, we're hitting, and I remember everybody around the locker room was like, man, what are we doing? Like, we sitting over here, man, we hitting hard and guys are really getting after one another. And so I felt compelled to go up to go see Dick Vermeil. Go let him know, maybe call the dogs off a little bit. And so I get up there, I'm like, yo, hey, coach. Hey, JD, come on in. Come on, talk to me. Have a seat. I said, yeah, coach, listen, I said, guys, man, there's a lot of grumbling, complaining down there that, sometimes we doing some full pads and, kind of hitting, a little bit too much. And guys just kind of wondered, we're going to taper off a little bit. And he just sits back. He just starts laughing. Well, I tell you what, JD, he said, we're gonna keep practicing hard, but I will do a little bit of telling off. He said, but you probably about the fifth guy that came up here to ask that. So I didn't have about 5 or 6 guys that came up here and was asked that same question. But it's funny. It's kind of funny. He said, but I remember Dick Vermeil, his philosophy was, this is a tough game, so you got to train tough. Okay, this is a fast game, so you got to train fast. It's a hard game, so you got to train to be hard. So that's what we took into every single game. Everything that we did, we always train, play the game, and that's the way it's got to be. So it didn't matter who it is that we played. Okay, and I want everybody to understand this. Okay, and I've been saying this all season, Marcus. Right? I've been saying it all season that it's not about anybody else. It's always about us. That's what it's about, okay? And our preparation, okay? That's what it boils down to. If we're not prepared enough, if we're not ready to go out there and go play, that is on us. The only team that can beat the Chiefs is the Chiefs themselves. That's what I believe. That's the only team, okay, that's good enough to beat the Chiefs. And it's us. It's beating ourselves. It's always the man in the mirror, the one you look up every single day when you wake up, every single morning. That's the guy that you got to defeat, okay? And so we just got to understand that with everybody else playing in the NFL, when I watch these guys play, I don't believe there's anybody better than us. Matter of fact, I would stand on that. I know they're not. I know they're not. And I keep going back to the one loss that we had against Buffalo, right? It took the 4th down and the heroic, effort of Josh Allen, to muster something up to make something happen. Okay. And even then, we still had a shot in the chance. So,
and that was in Buffalo too. So,
yeah.
Jay, we have a super chat. So, Anonymous Mango, appreciate
What's
the
up?
contribution, brother.
Anonymous, appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
So should the Chiefs find a way to keep Remigio on the 53 with McColl returning, and they opened up McColl Hartman's 21-day practice window today, JD. Obviously, we know McColl, no stranger to the playoffs, as most of these guys who've been on this team for the last few years. What do you make of Remigio and this whole McColl potential? Obviously, we want McColl to be healthy before this happens, but what do you make of this?
Obviously, Andy said, you don't look for McColl to play this week. The thing is, if it comes between those two, obviously I want, McColl being there. So as much as I like Remigio, I think he's a very exciting young guy. I really do. But one guy I do trust, especially in playoffs, is McColl Hartman. That's bottom line. That's who you head it off to. If that Joker is healthy and he's out there to come play, you best believe he's going to be the one doing the returning. So, as far and we just say in practice squad, if he's doing to the 53-man roster, still, I mean, if you had to lose a roster spot with Remigio going to the practice squad, that's so be it. That's what it has to be. So that let me make it clear on saying that. So if it's like, hey, do we keep now? Remigio just had to take a back seat, man. He just had to take a back seat. KSU 1989 said Remigio makes me nervous. And sometimes he does with me too. Well, I thank KSU 1989. Good seeing you, man. It's been a while since I hollered at you. But we know sometimes young guys take chances, right? Remigio was one of those dudes that's trying to get a name for himself, trying to get a name for himself. And sometimes when you do that, things can happen. Things can happen.
Appreciate the love, Anonymous Mango. Sorry it took for a while to get to your question, man. We always get to all of our super chats, so we were just in the middle of the topic there, but appreciate the love, brother.
Absolutely. Ray 028 is in here. Charles Driver. He said, I guess he's speaking of Charles. He said, well, Charles Driver before that, what did Charles say? Hardman for the corn dog play in the Super Bowl again. We'll call it something else. It's going to be something else, but we don't mind him being a hero again. But Ray said Charles Driver seems the media forgets about the injuries the Chiefs have had to deal with this year and still got the first seed in bye week. Yeah. Yes, they always talk about everybody else's injuries. They never speak about the Chiefs and who, we lost the very first of the season, who we just now starting to get back. So injuries kind of, did a number to us as well. Because what we were looking at going into the season, I mean, man, we probably would have been blowing teams out by 2 or 3 different touchdowns. Easy. And so, when we start putting guys back together, got Juju back, right? D-Hop came in here. And I think a lot of people was using this, Marcus, for maybe the level of difficulty of why Patrick should have been back in the conversation, because they were saying, well, who was doing more with length? I don't know. Is there an argument that Chiefs were at a certain point in time? I would say yes. But I don't want to even bring up. I don't even want to bring that up. I don't want to bring MVP up, Mark. I told you I don't even want Patrick. I don't even want him near that conversation. I don't care nothing about that. He doesn't either. All we're looking for is Super Bowl. That's it.
Yeah.
Pure and simple. Pure and simple, brother.
Super Bowl MVP is the only thing we're really thinking about for
Yes,
Pat.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I mean, no, I will say, yeah, we have done with more with less, kind of what you mentioned there, and also like picking up guys off the street. I mean, we pick up Juju, Kareem Hunt, DeAndre Hopkins. All those guys had pivotal games, and those are guys who were not with us when the schedule came out. And also, too, we want to talk about the media is ignoring. Media is, I saw someone mention it. I think talk about doing more with less. Who's that fall on having the first seed to buy? Andy Reid, Coach of the Year. I think the fact that he has not gotten Coach of the Year once since he's come to Kansas City is beyond me. It's wild. It's crazy. It makes no sense. But this should be the year he gets it. I mean, I don't think there's anybody else. I mean, you could make it him or Dan Campbell, but like what the story of what he did this year, going with Kareem Hunt, getting Hopkins, Juju having an explosive game with your number one receiver, Rashee Rice going out. I think in the number one offseason acquisition in Hollywood Brown going out before the season started, and to be 15-1 and where we are right now, the 1 seed, I think Andy Reid should be the odds-on favorite for Coach of the Year. I don't know what the Vegas odds has, but he should be the Coach of the Year this year, and it's a travesty if not. And also, too, the schedule. Forget about who we played, but the amount that we've had multiple times this year. We've played multiple games in like a 10 to 14 day span. To have 2 times where that happened this year, that's berserk. So, and that even with that, still going 15-1, I think there's many reasons why you should say Andy Reid should be Coach of the Year and what we've had to deal with injury wise and also schedule wise.
I agree. I do. I do agree. But sometimes they like having sympathy for, some of the underdogs out there. And hey, he turned his team now to a playoff team. Sean Payton has made a big turnaround. Jim Harbaugh has came back from college and he's made him into somebody that is, become serious. And, you start hearing all these different things, right? And then maybe what's the name, Dan out there with Washington. And got Jaden Daniels. He's taking a rookie. And what he's done with this team is, phenomenal. So it's going to be a lot of different narratives, of course. But Andy, without a doubt, he just keeps chugging along, man. Keeps chugging along. I don't think he even cares if he's coach of the year. To be honest with you, you don't care.
Yeah, he'll take Super Bowl trophies instead of that. But I just think it's wild to think that going back to what he did, even the year when he took over the 2-14 team and took us to the playoffs, and yet he was not coach of the year that year. I think Rivera won that year, the coach of the year. But like even that year, he didn't do it. And yes, it's probably hard for them to, whoever votes for this stuff to save face and be like, oh, I'm going to give the guy who's back-to-back Super Bowl winner the coach of the year award. I mean, this team was already. But if you look at the story of how it was done, the injuries and all the guys we picked up to make this happen, to make it work, that there's a huge argument there that he should be the favorite in it. But nonetheless, none of us care about these awards. As long as we get the ring, I don't think anyone really cares if it's going to lose sleep over not getting Coach of the Year or MVP or whatever award they want to get.
Yeah. If you ask Andy would probably say, man, give it to somebody else. That's the type of guy he is. So, but we'll argue for him. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll go to bat for him. So.
Yeah. Rick Hendrickson says the season should be a movie. It should be. And you know what? With the lack of ideas Hollywood has now, I think a 3-peat has never been done before. A kind of documenting this season, having hopefully they cast better actors than they did for that Clippers show on the FX, guys who actually look like the players. But if they do that, that'd be great. 3-peat. I mean, it'd be nice to see a movie about the season. That'd be really cool. I mean, a Kareem Hunt story in itself is a nice subplot to the whole thing.
Man. I think we've had a lot of different things here, right? I mean, controversy and everything, starting the season, what it's going to look like, who we got here now, and then, here we are, at, looking at a 3-peat, 15-1. What do you think?
So, yeah, I agree. The subplots of Kelce, dating the biggest movie star in the world or the pop star in the world. So it's like there's so many different things they could go with that. It's a whole year of stuff. It's been nonstop news for our guys in Kansas City.
We got the Hallmark movie, and I think that was part of it. Actually, I met the lady that was doing it. She was bringing all the people in from LA and whatnot. We were talking about we were coming down on the elevator at the hotel, and she see me. She's like, "Oh, Chiefs." Well, what she forgot how we started the conversation. But then I was like, yeah, I play with the Chiefs. And then she's like, oh my gosh. She's like, okay. I said, so what are you doing? She said, well, I'm the one that's bringing everybody here for the Hallmark movie. Really? She's like, yeah. She said, Christian Okoye was a really nice man and all this stuff. I said, you know what? Christian is really good dude, really good guy. But she was just telling me like all the different ones she was coming in and they was going to have a big party there at the hotel or whatnot. So I was like, I might have to use my acting chops a little bit.
Right. They make a sequel to this movie. Maybe a 3-part to highlight the 3-peat. Maybe the 3 movies. The trilogy of the home Christmas Cheese Christmas movie. Hi everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.